It's been 28 years since I began my journey into internal Wing Chun. Something I knew as simply Wing Chun in the beginning. I've trained thousands of students over the years, and I've come to realize just how difficult an internal Wing Chun approach is to understand. Over the years, I've seen students really struggle to grasp how to succeed at this art, and I've also seen a few that really take to it. I've come to find out that there are certain things that help demystify an internal Wing Chun approach, which helps students understand the internal in a more logical, make sense way. I want to quickly share with you simple characteristics of an internal Wing Chun approach in order to help you understand the difference between internal and external practices. However, first, it may be most helpful to clarify what an internal Wing Chun approach is not. First and foremost, an internal Wing Chun approach is in no way more mystical than external Wing Chun methods, nor is it in any way less grounded in science than external approaches. The only way an internal approach to Wing Chun is mystical is when you don't understand the mechanics behind it. It is, however, highly misunderstood and all too often inaccurately discounted. But make no mistake, internal Wing Chun is designed for practicality and physical domination. There's really nothing woo-woo about it. So practicing an internal Wing Chun approach shouldn't be thought of as any less fighting focused than an external approach to the art. Health and well-being is a natural byproduct of internal practice. But internal Wing Chun is still very much a martial art geared toward developing practical fighting ability. Now, one of the most basic differences between internal and external Wing Chun approaches is the method of generating power. In an internal Wing Chun approach, power is generated with the body as one solid unit. There is a full body connection harmonizing the movements of the hips and shoulders, knees and elbows, and wrists and ankles. This type of power generation requires that the joints of the body move in harmony in order to keep this connected one-piece, singular unit with the muscles neither too tense nor too lax. In comparison, external Wing Chun approaches don't have the same unified connectedness in motion, which internal Wing Chun approaches have. Instead, external approaches use more momentum-based power. This is more sectional, less grounded upon impact when delivering, similar to throwing a ball. Also, the training methods of internal Wing Chun power development are different than external training methods. Instead, internal Wing Chun power comes as a byproduct of building the foundational elements of postural alignment, rootedness, connection to the ground, antagonistic muscular relaxation, and mental intent. Specifically, you focus upon developing structure and stability instead of pushing off the ground for power, as is common in external Wing Chun practices. The internal approach becomes one with the ground. The more constant connection with the ground, the less external work is required in order to direct force into someone else. Speed is also not a direct focus in an internal approach to Wing Chun. Position, calmness, and smooth movements are much more important. An internal Wing Chun practitioner aims to become more aware through slower, more precise movement. Instead of trying to rush to beat the opponent to the punch, the internal practitioner seeks to harmonize with themselves and their opponent. This places the focus upon becoming smoother, more efficient, and able to fluidly occupy gaps in the aggressor's pressure. Basically, the goal is to be one with their energy in order to find the yin to their yang. Another major difference between internal and external Wing Chun methods is in the approach to foundational training. Beginners to internal Wing Chun methods first learn standing meditation and movements in order to build rootedness and internal awareness, while seeking to quiet the mind and calm the nervous system. For internal Wing Chun practitioners, Silim Dao or Sunim Tao is all about learning to use the mind to conduct internal power through the body with refined neuromuscular control. In the external approach, a quiet mindset isn't the focus. Instead, external methods often seek to hype up the nervous system and cultivate an aggressive mindset toward the opponent. The focus isn't on controlling yourself internally. Many of the external Wing Chun approaches are pattern and technique based. They drill patterns in order to use them as combinations to open someone up. This can be akin to trying to create waves of energy or force something to happen. This only works on those with lower level sensitivity, rather than being sensitive in order to respond to the waves given. Now, internal Wing Chun simply rides waves of yang pressure given to them. There's no need to create waves through force. There is no chasing. The waves come to you. So it's very, very much in the present. Many want to know if Wing Chun is an internal martial art or not. Well, not all Wing Chun is internal. Some approaches to Wing Chun are very external, and others are a combination of internal and external. However, I believe Wing Chun was meant to be an internal art, and at its best is very internal. And when Wing Chun is practiced as an internal art, that's when it has no limitations. What can be confusing is how different internal Wing Chun training can be when compared to external training methods. Often, drills and exercises in internal Wing Chun methods look so far removed from practicality that it's almost impossible not to question their connection to fighting. However, nothing should be done that in a genuine internal Wing Chun practice without good reason. Everything has meaning on some level or another. Remember that. What may be even more difficult about the internal approach is that the new student isn't able to see tangible results for a while. Because the key to internal Wing Chun is building awareness in the mind, body, and emotions. It takes much more patience than external practices. Beginners only start with so much bandwidth, I call it, this awareness. Often, correct practice is extremely subtle in comparison to external approaches. Since beginners can neither see nor feel what's happening well enough to even begin to trust in the process, getting good is that much harder. I've found over the years that often kids and young adults and those with lower attention spans, most of today's population, have a difficult time appreciating the internal approach. This is usually because young people are easily distracted, and the rewards of internal practice aren't as immediately gratifying as their patience can handle. Additionally, the internal approach doesn't look like much. Its movements are subtle and small. It's more efficient than an external approach, meaning that it uses more deflection and structure instead of force against force, pushing pressure or leaning pressure. There's so much more to it. But hopefully this article has helped you to gain a greater insight into demystifying internal Wing Chun and understanding it better. For some, like me, they may already practice an internal approach to Wing Chun without calling it internal. Now, just make sure you understand that if something is called internal versus external, it doesn't necessarily mean that one is better at fighting or more practical for fighting than another. The goal of Wing Chun still must first and foremost be about fighting. The other benefits that come with it are really secondary to being able to practically handle yourself and to be able to dominate others using Wing Chun. I'm Sifu Adam Willis. I really appreciate you listening to this. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, something I haven't addressed. I'll be happy to try to do that down below in the comments. If you're interested in my online Wing Chun program, I have a 90-day course. You can find that at wingchunlessons.com. And it goes through many, many things, including Sunam Tao, the beginning of the wooden dummy, structure, elements of good form, and I even get into some energies and simultaneous attack and defense drills. So lots of different things, a 90-day course for beginners. And that's wingchunlessons.com. Thank you much.